Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, hello and a very warm welcome to our ASEAN Business and Investment Summit. This is Southeast Asia's premier annual forum, bringing together heads of state, presidents, prime ministers, as well as business and thought leaders of ASEAN and its global partners, hosted by Brunei Darussalam as chair of ASEAN 2021. And we'd like to begin by thanking all of our sponsors and our supporters. Many thanks to our lead partners, Brunei LNG, Bank Islam Brunei Darussalam, BIBD, our platinum sponsors, Brunei Shell Petroleum, Baiduri Bank, Standard Chartered Bank, HSBC, Zurich Pharma, our gold sponsors, Brunei Gas Carriers, Mitsubishi Corporation, SAP, and Invest in Canada, our media partners, Borneo Bulletin, Media Permata, Radio Television Brunei, our strategic partner, Darussalam Enterprise, our charity partner, Save the Children, supporting organizations, EcoBhumi Architect, Dynamic Technologies, Adenin Group of Companies, ASEAN Joint Business Councils, and ASEAN Business Advisory Council. I'm Jenny Male Ali, delighted to be your host for today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, being a virtual event, we do need to do things a little differently. So some housekeeping guidelines will be helpful to ensure a nice, smooth flow throughout the course of the whole day. Also to allow for plenty of engagement from our audience who join us from all across Southeast Asia and also beyond. A warm welcome. So some housekeeping. For our attendees, we would love to hear from you as well and be part of all the conversations. Do post your questions, comments in. I would love to hear from you there. Do tag us on Twitter, on Instagram. Our handles are at ASEANBIS and the hashtag is ASEANBIS. The latest program can also be found on our Hopin platform. So with the housekeeping sorted out, ladies and gentlemen, with that, it's my pleasure to hand over to Haslina Taib, the chair of the ASEAN Business and Investment Summit 2021 and CEO Dynamic Technologies. Haslina.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and salam sejahtera. His Majesty Sultan Haji Hassan al-Bolkiah Mu'izzuddin Wad Dawlah Ibni al-Marhum Sultan Haji Omar Ali Saifuddin Sa'dul Hariwaddin, Sultan and Yang di-Pertuan of Negara Brunei Darussalam, Chairman of ASEAN Leaders 2021, the Honourable and Excellencies, Heads of States, Presidents and Prime Ministers, senior government officials, esteemed Joint Business Council members, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Each ASEAN member state has its own unique social, economic, and geopolitical blueprint. It is through this uniqueness and differences ASEAN demonstrates the dynamism and wealth of opportunity for businesses. However, there are mutual challenges which we are encountering together, especially the COVID-19 pandemic and the changes it brings. The shifting sands of COVID and our uncertain future could be called liminality. With liminality, we no longer hold our previous state as we go through transition. We are at a juxtaposition where we can create a fluid state that will enable new ways or new norms to be synchronized and adopted. So much of our lives are being impacted because of COVID. We ask ourselves, others, and even Google, how long will this pandemic last? When will the lockdown end? And when can we safely travel? No amount of Zoom, Uber Eats, WeChat, WhatsApp, and Discord games can beat being present. We try to live our normal lives, but life is already different from what it used to be. ASEAN member states all vary, but our aims are the same. We need our economies to recover sustainably in the new normal. As Canada's sixth largest trading partner, with our combined GDP of $2.8 trillion and population of 643 million, the Canada-ASEAN Free Trade Agreement will see Southeast Asia expansion of trade and investment across many sectors, including financial services, ICT, energy, infrastructure, and resources. The UK has become a dialogue partner of ASEAN. with the total trade between the UK and ASEAN being £32.3 billion early this year. There is a huge potential to create more jobs, to boost trade, investment, education, science and technology. Many of us in ASEAN look to advanced technologies such as the Internet of Things, AIs and blockchain to prepare for our new future today. Programs in ASEAN such as Go Digital aims to provide micro and small businesses in urban and rural areas with digital skills. Brunei's legacy project called Harnessing Impact with Resilient Employability Digitally, or known affectionately as HIRED, aims at strengthening human capital and the future workforce. Businesses need to travel more. During the ASEAN Summit in November 2020, we saw the adoption of the ASEAN Travel Corridor Arrangement Framework, which aims to smoothen the flow of travel for both trade and diplomacy, and in time, progressing to safe and staggered reopening of tourism activities. Today, we will see a solution from the private sector of an ASEAN digital gateway and travel wallet, with a prototype that aims to provide collaborative platform to redefine regional travel, to see each other again safely. When we conducted an insightful regional roundtable discussion on fintech and financial inclusion, it calls, amongst others, for a more affordable, convenient and easily accessible banking, seamless across all, including new platforms, through a secured framework and technology infrastructure. It bids for a more agile policy and secured ecosystems to allow great advancements. Today's climate and environmental challenges in conserving nature, business and community begs to approach sustainability from a different angle. The importance of circular economy over waste management focuses on extending the life of an asset or resource. Objectives such as net zero requires a collaborative and integrated development of policies with all stakeholders, as well as effective mechanism to monitor its implementation. We would have welcomed everyone for the Brunei Year to see some of our pristine forests and beautiful sunsets. As Sir David Attenborough said, and I quote, "This is an opportunity for us to right our wrongs and begin that journey to make amends. All we need is the will to do so." We are ASEAN. During this liminality, through collaboration and commitment of progressive public sectors and proactive businesses, we can build sustainable digital future sama-sama.
On behalf of ASEAN Business Advisory Councils, it is our greatest honor to now graciously and respectfully invite His Majesty Sultan Haji Hassan Al-Bolkiah, Mu'izzuddin Wad Dawla, Ibni Al-Marhum, Sultan Haji Omar Ali Saifuddin Sa'dul Hairiwaddin, Sultan and Yang di-Pertuan of Negara Brunei Darussalam, Chairman of ASEAN 2021, for His Majesty's keynote address.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. The COVID-19 pandemic is a global crisis like no others. It has disrupted our health and socio-economic order on a scale that has not been seen before in the modern world. With the pandemic still ongoing, the global economy remains fragile and uncertain. In combating this crisis, it is more important than ever for ASEAN and its dialogue partners to enhance solidarity and cooperation and to encourage continued engagement between the private and public sectors. Brunei Darussalam, as the chair of ASEAN for 2021, has the honor to lead the region towards economic recovery. The theme, "We care, we prepare, we prosper," affirms ASEAN's collective commitment to care for its people and prepare for future challenges and opportunities, with the goal of ensuring that the whole ASEAN community can sustainably prosper. Under the ASEAN Economic Community, Brunei Darussalam's 13 priority economic deliverables show our determination in focusing our efforts towards the region's economic recovery post-pandemic, while leveraging on new technologies and digitalization to ensure sustainable economic growth in ASEAN. The signing of the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, RCEP, last year demonstrated our concerted efforts towards advancing international trade, cooperation, and regional recovery. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the ASEAN Economic Community Blueprint 2025 will continue to be a vehicle for furthering the aspirations of our businesses and expanding their global reach. I believe this year's ASEAN Business and Investment Summit will provide a platform for policymakers and other stakeholders to discuss, share experiences, and work together on how we can enable businesses to become more sustainable and resilient against future shocks. In closing, I look forward to the continuous cooperation between the private and public sectors so that we can recover together and emerge stronger. I wish the organizers a successful event. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now call upon the Honorable Yanti Rahman, Chair, ASEAN Business Advisory Council 2021, for the vote of thanks.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A very good morning and salam sejahtera. His Majesty Sultan Haji Hassan al-Bolkiah, Mu'izzuddin wa Daulah, Ibni Almarhum Sultan Haji Omar Ali Saifuddin Sa'adul Khairi Waddin, Sultan and Yang di-Pertuan Negara Brunei Darussalam, the Chairman of ASEAN 2021. Prime Minister Scott Morrison, MP of Australia, Prime Minister Hun Sen of Cambodia, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau of Canada, President Joko Widodo of Indonesia, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri bin Haji Yaakob of Malaysia, Prime Minister Boris Johnson of the United Kingdom, Deputy Prime Minister Phan Binh Minh of Vietnam, Honorable Ministers and Government Officials, Haslina Taib, Chair of ASEAN Business and Investment Summit, Musa Adinin, Chair of ASEAN Business Awards. Your Excellencies, esteemed ASEAN and Joint Business Council members, leaders of businesses in ASEAN and beyond, ladies and gentlemen. I must say it has been a truly incredible and remarkable year for Brunei's ASEAN chairmanship, despite the historic challenges brought on by the pandemic that continue to test our resilience, our resolve, and our unity as a region. The unceasing and tireless determination, persistence, and collaboration between public and private sectors as one community in finding ways and means of save lives and bring our economies back to normal have shown that it can be done and can achieve much more for as long as we can stay together sama-sama. I am therefore deeply honored and grateful for the opportunity and privilege to have served ASEAN Business Advisory Council and our partners in this journey, and to have received invaluable support from my beloved Brunei government and ASEAN as a whole throughout our chairmanship. As the chair of ASEAN BAC, I wish to extend my profound gratitude to a number of major players, partners, and stakeholders that have made us come this far. First and foremost, the Ministry of Finance and Economy of Brunei Darussalam, Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Brunei Darussalam, with special recognition to the AEM Chair, the Honorable Datuk Seri Setia Dr. Amin Liu bin Abdullah, for his generous acceptance of our countless invitations to grace our undertakings throughout the year. Second is the ASEAN Secretariat, through the steadfast leadership of ASEAN SecGen, Datuk Lim Jok Hoi, for his unfailing encouragement, patience, and understanding in making private sector collaboration work and become a reality. I would like to thank the Joint Business Councils, which, by the way, was established 10 years ago during Brunei chairmanship in 2014. It has proven to be a highly powerful voice and effective platform in harnessing and mobilizing support from our private dialogue partners to push for AEC reforms. Thank you, JBCs, for joining me in supporting from the very start of the priority economic deliverables of Brunei's chairmanship. I also cannot forget my council, the ASEAN BAC, for providing us with all the needed attention, encouragement, and support at every turn of our chairmanship. I owe all of you my debt of gratitude. My heartfelt thanks also go to our events management team, Creativo, which by their very name has pushed the envelope in creativity and excellence in execution to make ABIS as an unforgettable legacy and a genuine source of honor and pride. Also not forgetting Mr. Hill Gonzalez, our Executive Director, and our ASEAN BAC staffers and Brunei staffers, who have contributed to organizing this summit until the very last days to the event. You all have played an important part in the summit, and we wish you could all join us physically today. The ASEAN Business Investment Summit has always been designed to bring together the insights and perspectives of our leaders, the experts from the corporate and business worlds, the great minds, and shape policy and action for development and progress. And today we will hear the insights and perspectives across various burning issues such as the future of work, education, health, and everyday life in the post-COVID, to ASEAN's priorities in the new normal, ASEAN's digital economy, and last but not least, ensuring a sustainable ASEAN. Now, we are delighted and very excited to have received a record-breaking over 2,000 registered participants for ABIS for more than 50 countries. Lastly, I cannot extend without acknowledging our generous sponsors, our lead partners, Brunei LNG and Bank Islam Brunei Darussalam, our platinum sponsors, Brunei Shell Petroleum, Biduri Bank, Standard Chartered Bank, HSBC, Zurich Pharma, our gold sponsors, Brunei Gas Carriers, Mitsubishi Corporation, SAP, and Invest in Canada, strategic partner Darussalam Enterprise, media partners Radio Television Brunei, Borneo Bulletin, and Media Promoter, and our charity partner Save the Children, supported by Ekobumi Architect Dynamic Technologies, Adinin Group of Companies, ASEAN Business Advisory Council, and powered by Imagine, our internet provider who has made this event possible. Thank you for your belief in our chairmanship and in raising the flag and honor of not just ASEAN BAC, but of Brunei and ASEAN. Thank you once again to all our sponsors. So hang on till the end, and I thank everyone for joining us today.
Honorable Yanti, thank you so much. So ladies and gentlemen, we continue our opening session now, and it's my pleasure to hand over to Haja Farida Datuk Talib, the Managing Director and CEO Brunei LNG, to deliver the special remarks on behalf of BLNG as one of our lead partners. Haja Farida.
Thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Your Majesty, Sultan Haji Hassan al-Bolkiah Muizzaddin Wad Dawla, Ibni Almarhum Sultan Haji Omar Ali Saifuddin Saadul Khairi Waddin, Sultan and Yang di-Pertuan of Brunei Darussalam and Chair of ASEAN 2021. Your Excellencies, Heads of State and Government, Honorable Ministers and Senior Officials, Hazlina Taib, Chair of the ASEAN Business and Investment Summit 2021, the Honorable Yanti Rahman, Chair of the ASEAN Business Advisory Council 2021, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, a very good morning and salam sejahtera. The world is in a constant flux of change. Change is a necessary ingredient for evolution, the next step needed for our society to advance forward. As we look forward to rebound from COVID-19, people capability becomes essential for driving digitalization and sustainability efforts as we shift from the industrial age to the networked era. The movement towards Industry 4.0 is set to disrupt traditional way of doing things. Connectivity and automation on a larger scale enables increasing productivity and performance, shifting away from the traditional business mindsets and value chain. The possibility of a wider seamless digital integration opens the door for economic growth if it is done in an inclusive manner. COVID-19 pandemic is a stark reminder to all of us that what we view as normal lacks permanence and highlights the importance of equipping ourselves with the capability to thrive through rapid change. Strategic discussions on digitalization have accelerated into an operational imperative as many adopt and rely on digitalization tools to remain sustainable in the new normal. Digitalization for me is not a new way of working, but a way of working that needs to be accelerated, a way of working that we need to preserve for the future. The impact of climate change is real and occurring now. Loss of sea ice, accelerated sea level rise, and longer, more intense heat wave happening across the globe calls for more intensive efforts towards preventing further catastrophes. We all play our part in supporting the climate change agenda and making sure there is a viable future for our children and their children's generation. Coming closer to home, the ASEAN economy is predicted to be the world's fourth largest single market after the EU, US, and China by 2030. With this projected economic and population growth, its energy consumption in the baseline scenario is also expected to grow by 146% in 2040. This creates the challenge for ASEAN to find a pathway that can integrate a holistic approach for addressing their energy security needs with their aspirations for economic sustainability. As countries and businesses prepare for economic recovery from the pandemic, there is an opportunity to take advantage of the renewed mindset, leveraging on future challenges as new opportunities for ASEAN. With substantial digital transformation expected in the coming years and potential unlocking of sustainable natural capital opportunities like nature-based solutions, the ASEAN region has a huge potential for building digital capabilities and green developments. Brunei LNG is proud to be one of the joint lead sponsors for the ASEAN Business and Investment Summit and the ASEAN Business Awards 2021, led by the ASEAN Business Advisory Council Brunei. I believe that platforms such as the ASEAN Business and Investment Summit can cultivate thoughtful discussions amongst international leaders, key industry players, and promote collaborative spirit between public and private partnership to pave the way for solutions to address future world challenges. Personally, I am heavily invested in this futuristic society we could all create together. This also reaffirms our commitment as an industry leader in promoting sustainable energy solutions and as a trusted partner with the government of His Majesty the Sultan as the country progresses towards a low-carbon and climate-resilient nation. Your Majesty, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, let me conclude by expressing my great appreciation to your attendance and participation in the summit, and special thanks to the ASEAN Business Advisory Council Brunei for their continued efforts in ensuring the success of the event. Together, let us continue to build and foster strategic partnership towards a sustainable and digital future. Thank you.
Haja Farida from PLNG, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to now invite Mr. Mubashar Kokar, the Managing Director and CEO Bank Islam Brunei Darussalam, as one of our lead partners for his special remarks. Mr. Mubashar.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Your Majesty Sultan Haji Hassan Bolkiah Moizuddin Wad-Dawla Ibn al-Marhum Sultan Haji Umar Ali Saifuddin Saad al-Khairi Wad-Din, Sultan and Young Di Pertuman of Negara Brunei Darussalam, Your Excellencies, esteemed heads of states and heads of government of ASEAN member of countries and participating countries, the Honorable Sitti Rozae Marianti Binti Dato Siri Laila Jasa Haji Abdul Rahman, Chairperson of the ASEAN Business Advisory Council 2021, Puan Haslina Taib, Chairperson of the ASEAN Business and Investment Summit 2021, distinguished members of the ASEAN business community, ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to extend a warm welcome to all the distinguished participants of this virtual summit at what is undoubtedly a difficult time throughout our region and the world. This year's theme, Building Our Sustainable Digital Future, focuses on how we can build back better, recover stronger, together, sama-sama. Around the world, we see countries beginning to emerge from a crippling public health crisis, and we have every reason to look forward with continued resilience and hope. The summit today is therefore extremely relevant, bringing together head of states, presidents, prime ministers, as well as business and thought leaders to discuss the challenges and opportunities facing the region and beyond for the coming years. It is without doubt that digital transformation and sustainability are among several key opportunities that have emerged from this pandemic. Herewith, also an opportunity for business leaders to steer the sails, leveraging digital transformations to align with their sustainability objectives, redirecting capital towards sustainable practices and companies, incentivizing sustainable activities, and bringing more choice to consumers in terms of sustainable products and services. Your Majesty, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Bank Islam Brunei Darussalam, BIBD, as the nation's largest financial institution, has already begun to embark on such a journey. As an Islamic bank, we have always been guided by the Maqasid Sharia, or objectives of Sharia, which speaks to the preservation and promotion of faith, life, the mind, progeny, and wealth. These principles are closely aligned to sustainability, specifically those outlined under the United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals, UN SDG. It is hoped that as we embark on this journey towards making the world a better and greener place, we will develop practical ways of aligning our sustainability values with our business practices. Our hope is to lead the way towards a future that is more equitable and sustainable, not just in Brunei Darussalam, but also globally. At the same time, BIBD has always been at the forefront of digital banking transformations in the country. We introduced the next generation of digital banking solutions, aptly named BIBD NextGen, back in 2018, and we have also begun our digital journey with more digital advances. The bank's commitment to sustainability will be powered by the ESG policies, framework, technologies, and digitization, which will be key enablers in driving sustainable and responsible business activities, creating more opportunities of employment and an inclusive social impact. This will in turn allow us to become one of the main drivers towards supporting the government in achieving Brunei Vision 2035, in line with the bank's role as a partner in progress for the nation and advancing the nation's objectives in achieving the UN SDG. Your Majesty, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I believe this platform has grown into an important platform to promote regional and international cooperation among the public and private sector. With collective effort and hand-in-hand partnership, there is much potential to uncover between the distinguished participants here today. I am positive that this year's ASEAN Business and Investment Summit will continue to expand upon these ideas, drawing upon the vast and venerable expertise and experience among leaders, policymakers, international organizations, and leading businesses in this region. It has been indeed an honor for BIBD to be part of this summit, and I look forward to discussing and sharing experiences to bring about more opportunities for cooperation and development towards building a sustainable digital future. Please allow me to take this opportunity to convey my best wishes for successful and productive summit as we work ever closer to achieving our aligned objectives and common goals. Thank you.
Mr. Mubashar, thank you so much closing out our opening session. Ladies and gentlemen, with that, we will return with our first panel discussion, a scene setting right after this message from BLNG.